Bank was founded in 1946 by farmers and business owners because they needed a community bank that knew them and understood their business. A lot has changed since then, but Merchants and Planters Bank is still employee-owned and operated, and we're still committed to knowing and understanding the needs of every customer we serve. Great rates, fast turnarounds, and experienced local bankers ready to work for you. That's why you should choose Merchants and Planters Bank. Stop in any of our 12 locations or contact us at mnpbank.com.
New Year to all the sports fans in the world. We welcome you to Sports Unleashed. Thank you for joining us. Special guest tonight, my good friend Benjamin Winfield Smith. How are you, sir?
Buddy. Good, buddy.
We've got Josh Cherokee Nation also with us tonight. And a couple of guys on assignment, Ben Black, Hayden Schultz, they're on assignment tonight because it's a Monday night and it's a holiday for some. No holiday for us.
No, we don't.
Thanks for showing up in a tough spot.
We don't do holidays. This is our holiday.
Yes, we're going to talk. We're going to talk sports. Talking sports. But Happy New Year to everybody. And Ben, first of all, let's talk a little bit about your 2002 was a little different than what you're normally accustomed to. Kind of give us a rundown of how your health is.
Good. I had a good cardiologist report. My heart's pumping up to close to 40% now. And
good.
You think 40%? It was down under 10, which barely kept a person alive. So 40, and the next time I go, they want it over 45 to 50. Then next time, they're trying to get me up to about 60%.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
I feel good.
You look good.
I got good blood flow.
You do. I mean, your color looks good. That's when people say, "Man, your color looks good."
I didn't have no color when I didn't have no blood flow.
Hey, we got a lot of folks already watching the program tonight, and Guy Brown says hello, fellas, and thank you, sir, for watching. Ann Turner's watching, and Isaac Haywood is tuned into the program tonight. Austin Carter, Sue Myers, Mr. Brett Bunch, thank you all for joining us. Keith Burrow also. Paul LeBrod, how's Paul doing up in God's country, up in Gateway Grizzly, the doorman? Take those tickets and tell us we could get in or we couldn't get in. We appreciate Paul. I hope he's doing well. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. We're going to talk a lot about some bowl games. We'll talk about the Razorbacks. We've got some one-of-a-kind items that Benny always brings for us on the show. And I guess the first thing that we want to talk about before Josh, if you could come just give us a screenshot of this. We're not going to talk about this right now, but we're going to give something away tonight. We've got a trivia question coming up.
Yes.
A little trivia question. It's going to be something we can't tell you what it is, but we just want to show y'all this.
The prize is the 91 golf season cards.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, 91 PGA Tour card set.
That guy looks awfully familiar there, Ben. He looks awfully familiar.
Yeah. If you played a game in your childhood, you probably played that game, but it's not that person. You played Mr.
Potato Head, but that's not what we're looking for.
That's not Mr. Potato Head. That's
something else,
somebody
isn't it?
else.
We'll talk a little bit about that here in just a little bit and kind of let you know. Hi, Mark Goff. How are you doing, sir? Joe Peters is watching, and we appreciate everybody that's joined us tonight. But Benny Smith always brings some nice stuff to talk about. First of all, we're going to talk about the football games and what a great, great run to a national championship that's ended up with TCU in Georgia. Your thoughts on that as a whole, and were you surprised any that those four got in? And we'll talk specifically about the games here in just a little bit.
I was listening to and after the game deal, and the high scores are brought on by the handcuffing of your defense. Your defense is scared to make hits.
Yep.
They're scared to hit anybody.
Yep.
If you do hit them good, you're out of the game for the rest of that game, the next half of the next game. And that's why you're seeing your 40, 50-point games and stuff where used to you saw 3s, 10s,
right,
14s.
You know, I've never really thought about that, Josh. We didn't talk about that part. We didn't.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
Ever did you see, like 10 years ago, if somebody scored 40 points?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
The defensive coach was like gone.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that day.
And now they go, boy, he did a great job hanging on there to last. That was a good job. Held them to 43.
Well, you talk about the game. You know, TCU beat Michigan 51-45, and 42-41 Georgia in their victory over Ohio State. I mean, but it's a very good point because we talked about a lot of points, transfer portals, and the one thing that I saw this week was a very important post from my good friend Chris Vines over at Batesville. He talked about who's to blame. A lot of posts you see is let's blame the head coach, let's fire the head coach, let's fire the defensive coordinator, let's fire the offensive coordinator. They called the wrong play, let's blame the officials, let's blame the replay officials, let's blame. Who do you have to blame? And I've always said, well, you really don't have to blame anybody. It's the nature of the game. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, and you know those other teams are trying too. So, and so let's fire Barry Odom because he's not a very obviously gone now, but you know you see that a lot. And what about these guys here from TCU, Michigan, Ohio State, or Georgia? Fire them all. They give up 40-something points, but
you just got to outscore them now.
Yeah, it's all about the offense.
Yeah, it's all offense. It's like the McAdoo player for our team,
right?
And they got him for targeting. Well, the offensive guy came towards him and lowered his head.
Right.
And I still say McAdoo hit him with his shoulder pad, but from the angle, it's like the referee, you know, he had to call it.
Right, yeah.
But they come back and reversed it. But how do you get lower than a running back? I can remember back in the day when the defensive guy led with his helmet.
Right, absolutely.
That's always going to be. And you're out there playing, you're going to lower your helmet.
Yeah.
And still.
Well, you kind of you
got to.
You're not so much using it as a weapon, but I mean you're using it as a protective piece for yourself. But what about the running back who lowers his head to try to get the extra yards, and he goes head-to-head contact, and it's head-to-head with the running back running into the linebacker, and they said, "What's the line?" But why can't he get targeted?
Yeah,
or does he get targeted?
No, I've never seen it called on the offensive guy.
Should be, shouldn't it? If you lead with it, and the rules are not that the running back does this.
It's all on the defense. If the defensive guy hits him with his helmet, he's gone.
It's a rule that's understanding, but it's also a rule that's taken a little bit something away from the game. It has helped in a lot of ways in protection for even the guy who's doing the targeting, protection for him, head injury, so on and so forth. But the equipment that we use today, especially from the helmet standpoint, the helmets are the most improved helmet that we've ever had, designed for protection against concussions. But sometimes you just hit hard enough that you do get one. I mean, that's kind of the nature of the game. Sometimes it happens in wrestling.
Well, yeah. They lead with their heads. They don't ever get called for nothing.
Yes, even to the canvas on top of their head.
Steel chairs, you know. You don't get kicked out of the wrestling match because you get some guy in the head with a steel chair.
Amanda Brogdon watching.
You back to it. McAdoo had a hit earlier in that game. The guy was coming across, and McAdoo hit him. And
oh yeah, across the middle, he popped it. Yeah.
But he used his shoulder. But I still thought at the time, well, they're going to play that defenseless receiver angle on him.
Right.
But they never did.
Right.
So I don't know. It's kind of like the quarterbacks. They're protected until they start running the ball, and then they classify them as a running back.
Mary Eves, Todd Norris watching. We thank y'all very much. And Delta Trailer Manufacturing for being one of our sponsors. We've got Benny Smith joining us. Class of 1974, Miss Mary Eves.
Yes.
In the house,
yes.
As we say. In the house.
Yes.
With our good friend Ben Smith.
Yes.
Already talked about his heart attack, and we're talking a little football. I guess the next thing, Ben, when you look at, are you surprised that these two teams, I mean, you're not surprised about Georgia, I wouldn't think.
No.
Are you surprised that TCU is there?
I kind of was. I thought Michigan would beat them, but I got shocked.
Josh, see if you can find that deal for me that I showed you earlier that I was talking. It's on my desk there somewhere about, I'll come, yeah, just bring it to me if you, no, the deal that I had written down in my own.
Got you.
Yeah, just
But
bring it to me.
this is the first time, I think, in the playoffs that
Thank you, sir.
it wasn't a first round blowout.
Right.
Usually they're blowouts the first round, and then you get to your main two teams. This year could have gone either way on both.
On either game, yeah.
And now they've got a true championship game, I think.
Well, TCU, I just went back and looked at them today, and I thought, incredible to win, 12 football games, 13 games now, I guess. And they did lose. They lost a football game to Kansas State, 31-28 in overtime in the championship between the two divisions in their conference, December the 3rd. Then I went back to October the 8th, and I saw where TCU beat Kansas 38-31 in a great football game. And then on the 15th, the next week, they beat Oklahoma State 43-40 in overtime. Game could have gone either way. They beat Kansas State 38-28. Beat Baylor November 19th 29-28. And then obviously the Kansas State game 31-28 overtime December 3rd. And Josh and I were talking about, you always look at those games when you're 7-4 and you say, boy, we could have won the one game, we could have won this game, could have won this game. You could have won 3 of those, and then that way you'd been 10-1. And I've always said that, plus when you're 7-4, you might look at those 7 victories and go, we could have lost that one, could have lost that one, could have lost that one. So then you're 3-8. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be lucky. You believe in luck? Do you believe that
yeah.
you got to be lucky in these games?
That's a big part of it. Right there.
Absolutely.
If you don't have luck, you'll be 3-8.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, there ain't no other way around that. It's like I think the Razorbacks lost 3 games by 4 points or less.
Right.
Year before,
Right.
we won those games.
Absolutely right.
So we still I say respectable 7-6 because we're in the Southeast Conference.
You bet. You
And,
bet. You bet.
A lot of people, I get on those chat boards or whatever you call them, chat rooms,
Uh-huh.
and they destroy coaches.
Oh, all the time.
There's no positive, hardly ever. I'm going to say hardly ever. Every once in a while you'll have a positive feedback, but most of them are just killing coaches and all that. I don't see it myself. I don't. You have a winning record.
You've had a pretty good year. You've had a pretty good year. John G. Pennington in the house says, get him, Benny.
Yeah.
And he will, my friend.
We'll win. And they still get on there and criticize. And I tell Sherry, I said, I guess I'm missing the point. We won.
I saw a lot of that this when Arkansas won and how they had to win in 3 overtimes and being critical of all the coaches and the coaching staff, and even when you do win. And people are hard to please, and with the media forums that we have with Facebook and all the boards that we have with not just Facebook, but when you can Google these certain boards, and I mean people get on there and make comments. It gets under my skin a little bit. And I'm going back to Chris Vines' post about who to blame. Sometimes the other guy just does a good job. They got lucky and they won. Or they didn't get lucky. They played great and they just won. I mean, that's just part of it. And I don't think you have to blame anybody. I think the end point to Chris's post was, why don't we just say congratulations to the other team for having won and done what they needed to do to get it done?
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
I agree with you there.
And, I mean, people would talk about Sam Pittman or Kendall Briles or who. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and I'm the first to admit that I know nothing about any of it because, first of all, I don't know the kids that are playing. I haven't seen them practice all week. I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't see the the scheme. I'm not involved in the meetings and the film meetings. I'm not involved in the everyday practice schedule of what we're trying to do against certain teams. So that's why I stay off those boards. I stay off making comments to those. I did make a comment to Chris the other day, and then I said, no, I'm going to take it off there because I really don't want to get in the middle of it. And I started the conversation by saying I usually don't get on these and comment about these posts. But, I mean, you can't win the argument with anybody because we've all got opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad people can voice their opinions. I do like that. Regardless if it's not my opinion or not, it's okay for them to voice their opinion. You agree with that?
What I want to get at is I was listening to 103.7 one night last year during basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And Nolan Richardson was on Wednesday nights.
Right.
So I'd listen to that. And this caller came in and said, well, how come Coach Musselman don't play this player more? And Nolan said, well, let me tell you, he's at every practice. He's around them 24/7.
Right.
I'm not. Why are you asking me why? Right. He said, I'm sure Coach Musselman knows his players better than I do.
Right, absolutely.
And he said, that's what I used to get into back in the day when I coached. I knew my players, but I'd still have these people going, why ain't so-and-so playing? Well, you at practices? No. You around them much as I am? No.
Don't know their attitude,
yeah,
how they do in practice.
Like
do they work hard in practice?
Yeah, and it's like you said, we don't know the players.
I don't have a clue about it.
I don't either. I don't know their name.
Wow. Well, how come so-and-so's not in there at quarterback?
Yeah.
Well, he probably didn't have a very good way to practice.
And you have a quarterback that misses the first pass. We need to get him out of there.
Yeah.
Let's get somebody else in there.
I've talked about it, and again, Josh and I had a long hour conversation before we came on the air, and I've always said this: when you play the game, if your team and your running back takes a sweep, going to run the ball around the right end, and runs over the cornerback who comes up tries to make the tackle, you go, man, it was a great play by our running back. He just ran over that guy. But if that's my team, most of the time people will say, man, we need to do a better job of tackling. But if I'm on your team and I run over the guy, I say, boy, we did a good job of running over him. But if I got run over, I say, well, hey, we need to tackle a little bit better.
Our running back ran over that guy.
I think the one thing that a lot of us do, including me, fail to realize sometimes is give the other guy credit for what they do well. They give the same amount of scholarships. They can recruit the same amount of guys, which leads me into the NIL and the transfer portal. And we'll get back to your prediction on the game. What do you think about the NIL transfer portal as it is today? Hurting college football, helping college football? It's helping kids, hurting kids. What's your stand on being able to transfer like they can now?
I've seen you can take advantage of it, but if you don't, the NIL deal, we'll get back to it later, but the transfer portal, you can rebuild your team quickly.
Right.
If you're like our secondary, I hate to say this, but our secondary was really weak this year.
Got exposed some, yes.
Yeah. And we got a new defensive coordinator coming in. Now, I know he wants to he's got an opportunity now to bring his players in.
Right.
And the players already there, they're kind of in limbo because you don't know what he wants to bring with him.
Yeah, I see that.
And on the NIL deal, I was listening to Rick Schaefer on 103.7 again.
Robbie Crawford's watching.
Crappie!
What's up, Crappie?
The NIL deal, Rick Schaefer said, there's not as much money as you think being paid out. There might be one or two players get a pretty good sum, but most of them are not. But like before the NIL, those players would love to have $1,000 or $2,000 a semester in their pocket.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
good for that, but
Well,
It's
the thing
like
they can't go out and get a part-time job because they're in a full-time
Right.
job, and the old argument has been, well, they're paying for their college education, but the university and with television contracts, the universities are making millions upon millions of dollars because of that. Thus, the rule come into
So you get the NIL deal, and it's like the Alabama quarterback. He does Dr. Pepper commercials.
right.
So he's
He's getting big bucks.
He's getting pretty good.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's got to cause hard feelings because if I was a lineman blocking for Bryce Young
Yep.
and he's sitting there getting all that money, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, I'm doing everything he does every day,
Yep.
and I've got this deal with the barbecue place, and they're putting $500 in my pocket. Old Bryce is getting $500,000 back here, and I'm thinking, yeah, I ain't going for this. But I don't know how it works.
Well, the funny part about it is, if people can remember back to the SMU days and all the days when people were cheating, which would been I would don't know that everybody cheated, but at some point you think that somebody got paid something, but it used to be where you could not, as a booster, even buy a recruit's lunch because that was against the rules. I mean, no, you couldn't do that because that gives you a recruiting advantage. You couldn't give him a ride somewhere. Somebody got in trouble one time, and it might have been Arkansas, where the kid's father had passed away, and some booster paid for a plane ticket, or maybe the coach paid for a plane ticket, for him to fly to his daddy's funeral and come home, and they got written up for it. A violation. You can't do that. You can't. That's an unfair advantage. But these guys put in, literally, if you take they're up from 6 o'clock in the morning till 10, 11 o'clock at night doing something that's educationally involved or doing something that's football related, and most of the time does include football related activities such as practice time, film time, study time for the educational part. They have study halls that they have to go through. So, I mean, it's a tough old deal when that kid can't have
Right.
an extra $100 a week to maybe go out and get him a burger, at 10 o'clock at night when he gets off, or whatever the case may be. But and then I'm like you. I don't think there's lots of guys out there making millions of dollars, but there's
old Bryce put out a little bit to them.
I'd say probably takes them out to lunch.
Yeah, he have to. Yeah.
So, they probably had to go to brunch. They work on Sundays too,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
might have to be after the season.
Well, you get back to that college sports. It's a year-round deal now.
In every sport.
Yeah, if you don't do it year-round, you're not going to play. Or
No, whether you're a basketball player, or you run a track, or you're a swimmer, or you're on the cheer squad, the band. I mean, it's a year round.
Yeah.
It's a year round thing. I want to do something. We've got some things that Benny's going to show us tonight, and but first of all, I promised a good friend of mine an interesting story. I want to present you with something tonight, and we normally save these for Super Bowl Sunday, but I got a little gift for Benny Smith, and it's a one-of-a-kind.
One-of-a-kind.
We're going to show some one-of-a-kind. This is a one-of-a-kind. There's not another one like this in the world.
Yeah.
Nobody has it, but I have it in my possession, and I was told by my good friend, and I will tell about the good friend here in a little bit. I'll let you even name him when I give you the gift, that there were some things that I got from him that's Greyhound memorabilia, and he said, do what you want to with it. I've had it probably for 2 years. I had a box. The box that is below this sign right here sits right on our set. We don't have to show it. But that sign holds up a box that I got from not a former friend, but just a friend of ours, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
I got it right here. So.
Okay.
Anyway, you'll be impressed. I know you have one similar to this, but you don't have this one. You don't have this one. You don't have this. This was a 1972 football jersey that you've got 21. You've got little
Sammy Nicholson.
You got little Sammy Joe Nicholson.
Yeah.
And this is not signed yet, but it will be. Do you know where I got that?
Number 72.
Big man.
I'm going to make a guess, and I'm going to say Sloan Helms.
You hit it, brother. You hit it. Sloan's probably watching tonight.
It might have some. I opened his chin up with 4 stitches one time, and I thought
that might be it.
I'd been on a practice jersey where I opened his chin.
Could have been on Thursday because we wore these on Thursdays.
Yeah, we went full speed on Thursday.
You opened up his chin.
Oh yeah, he's got
a little scar under there.
Yeah, he showed it to me last time he was in town. He said, "You know, you caused that."
Benny has a museum that has number 21 Sam's jersey in it.
Yeah.
And I thought I would give you this. Ronnie Helms sent me a box full of stuff that's I'm going to keep some stuff and I'm going to pass some stuff along to you, but I want you to have that now. You can leave it with me because I'm going to send it back to Ronnie and get Ronnie to sign it.
Okay.
I'm going to get him to sign it. But
Sloan Helms.
It's been over 50 years, just by a month or so, November 24th, 1972, that he last wore that jersey. And it's just incredible that I used to have mine. Do you have yours?
Yeah.
No. You gave it to somebody?
I don't. I got my Letterman's jacket and patches on it. That's about all I got left.
Really?
I don't know where my jersey went.
I don't know where mine went either, but it was 55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours 51.
Yeah, we was in the 50s. That means we were linemen like 70. Ronnie Helms, All-State. I mean, this guy could have been All-State. Offensive tackle, All-State. Defensive tackle. One of 4 All-Staters on that football team. Ronnie Helms, Don Shelton, Bubba Michael, and Joe David Smith. Pretty good football team.
And he went to Arkansas
Tech, played 4 years. Yeah. And his kids played at LSU. Yeah. And I don't mean they were on scholarship. They played at LSU.
Yeah, one of them was a center.
Yeah. But Ronnie Helms, if you're watching, Mary Eves is watching. How awesome, man. Absolutely. Mary Eves, class of 74. Jan Tucker is watching, class of 1974. Penny Smith. Yeah. Ronnie Helms, class of 73, year older than us.
Yes.
But great football team. And that reminds me of, and we're going to get to some things to give away or to show, and then we're going to get to our giveaway here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But it leads me into the next thing I want to talk about tonight is that I haven't even, I've made some posts on Facebook. I'm going to start and I'm going to do what's called the greatest Greyhounds. The greatest Newport Greyhounds. And I'm going to honor and name, I don't know if this list is going to be 50, 100, 150, 250, or 2,000. And I'm not going to do this over the course of a month. I'm going to do it over the course of however long I've got left to keep honoring folks that I think need to be honored, that were athletes. And they don't have to just be football players either. They could have been softball players. They could have been girls basketball players. They could have been track performers. Newport's a big sports town. And I just think there's a lot of people that have never gotten an opportunity to get recognized for the great things that they contributed in high school, regardless of what they did after high school. And I'm going to have a Facebook page. It's going to be called that. I've already got it on there. I haven't sent anybody any invitations to I'm going to have a sponsor. I'm going to ask one sponsor and maybe 2 to sponsor this for us. I'm going to spend a bunch of my time that I have or that I'm going to make available to honor those folks that I think need to be recognized. And they don't have to be players either. They could be coaches. They could be administrators. They could be managers. They could be people that kept stats. And this is not to take anything away from our Charitable Foundation Hall of Fame, which is an enormous, enormous deal. And it's not going to be a fundraiser as such, but it's going to be something to recognize those people that maybe haven't had an opportunity to get so. But I'm looking forward to that. It should be
I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love someday to see Newport have a Sports Hall of Fame somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe this will get us a start. Yeah. And again, not to compete with the Charitable Foundation Hall of Fame, because that's tremendous honor. But that one, you have to be a Newport High School graduate. And this thing, you just have to. Who's going to do the picking? I am, and me and a few others on a select committee. And By the way, which you're on, that you didn't know that. So
Well,
I'm not going.
appreciate it,
It's
buddy,
a
and,
secret.
yeah,
It's a secret committee, and I don't want anybody to know who's on it. But Benny's on it.
Yeah, I accept. Buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, I accept it. Yeah.
So, with your acceptance onto this committee and us naming some of these folks, who do you remember? Who do you remember as great ones, or maybe your heroes, or who's some great? Just start with athletes in general, or football players, whatever you want to. Who was good that you remember?
I can remember back in the 7th or 8th grade watching Rulin
Luter.
Yeah, playing. He
Yeah.
went on to Memphis.
Sure did. Memphis
State.
Tiger,
Yeah, Memphis State Tiger.
All-State defensive
Yeah.
tackle.
Yeah, I can remember watching him. Kearney Blaylock. Don Shelton, I got a taste of him every day. Him and Ham, you and Sam. Y'all used to beat me around a lot, so I figured y'all might need to be up there mentioned.
I know this. I've seen a couple of posts where people try to, who's the greatest running back of all time, and I mean, let me tell you what. Discussions are good. We had this a couple of years ago, and we started naming folks on this show, and said who are the greatest of all time, and we said let's name 20, or let's name the top 5, and then you get into 5, and 5 turned to 10, 10 turned to 20, 20 turned to 40, and we named 150 just football players that are deserving of something and some recognition. And thus what I want to do is recognize these people and, maybe get a picture of them, do some interviews with some people, talk to people just like we're doing tonight, talk about your favorite players or who you think were great. But any others off the top of your head down through the years who were just,
If you shift over to basketball, I
let's talk
remember
about who.
Robert Donaldson.
Yeah, Dean Dawson,
Yeah,
3-year
he's
starter.
good.
Yeah.
And you'd always mention Charles.
Ballantyne.
He's going to be mentioned right off the deal. But football, you have to. It's more of a what age. Some of these people I never saw play,
Right.
But I've heard their name all my life.
Yeah. In the
then you-
50s, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Nobody ever saw Bill Keedy. I didn't see Bill Keedy play. You didn't either.
No.
But they say he was a great one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, rumor has it Bill Keedy, Coach Keedy, was a great all-state football player. He was a great one.
Oh yeah.
Had a lot. Don Peters was a good one. Lots of guys in the 50s. Coach Raymond Massey was an all-state football player, and then went to what was at the time, what's now the University of Central Arkansas. And I think it was State Teachers College at the time. Went and played at State Center, all-state center, and played in college. And
Then you come up past our age and go on up, and I always thought Trey Metzger was a great quarterback.
good quarterback. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
People like that. And
Well, we've had some great ones. I mean,
Yeah.
You talk about quarterbacks. Ricky Dykes comes to mind in the '81 team, and quarterbacks just galore down through the years. Just had some awesome guys, and I name one, and there's 15 of them I can name right now, and teams that Dykes with Billy Warren, led us to a state championship, and then Paul Miller, who played a couple of years here, came in and led us to a state championship in '91 with Bubba Phillips as a running back. You look back at those state championship years, and then just to mention a few, Steve Rucker, who played 2 different state championship games, and
well, what you got in there is the coaches. When Keedy coached,
right,
we didn't have a bad team.
right,
And you're going to have good players if you don't have a bad team.
right, yeah, absolutely.
And it just, how long did he coach?
19 years here,
Yeah.
19 years.
And what do you have? 1 losing season or 0 losing season?
He had one.
Yeah.
He had a 5-5. We had a 5-5 and a 5-6 back-to-back years in '85 and '86. And '85 we were 5 and lost in the playoffs 5-6. Next year we were 5-5, didn't go to the playoffs, which was 1986, and the playoff streak started in
And if you
'86.
just think, and you had like David Hahn.
Absolutely, yeah,
Man, great quarterback.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, his teams were solid in the late '80s, and John
You could sit
Pennington.
here all night. For the next 3 hours, you could sit here and it just name pop up in your head.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like David Hahn. I was just sitting there thinking, boy, David Hahn was a good
Yeah,
quarterback.
Russell Lane,
Yeah,
pretty good quarterback too, wasn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Chuck Phillips. Chuck Phillips, a pretty good quarterback back in. Josh, bring me a cord to where I can charge my phone. I think maybe over behind.
How do you? I don't know.
How you pick them?
No, you
You can't.
couldn't,
So,
yeah.
but we're going to.
Because everybody's going to have their opinion.
Right. And yeah, that'll work. But it's something that you can't go wrong with because we can name as many as we want. We could do it weekly. We could do it monthly. I mean, we're not going to have a banquet. We're not going to honor these folks as far, but we might have some people that maybe want to come in and do some interviews after they've been named or whatever. And it just gives the sports show a little bit spunk and not for my sake, because I don't need any recognition. I don't need any at all. I get enough being on what we do. But let me tell you what, when it comes to honoring the Newport Greyhounds, that's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I've done for a lifetime, and that's what I will continue to do until they say, "This old guy used to." I'm old now, but they'll say, "That old guy can't honor anybody else." But I want it to be something that maybe my crew would take over after I'm gone. And
Yeah, the Stacy brothers.
oh yeah,
Drew and
Phil,
and
yeah, and Matt.
Matt.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
the youngest one,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
Matt. Yeah, he's all-star.
Yeah.
A couple all-staters there.
Yeah.
And Brand Boys. You talk
Yeah.
about the Brand Boys.
Yeah.
And even the names that I've been broadcasting for 40 plus years, and the names that keep resurfacing. The Kendall name. We went to high school with some Kendalls.
Oh, yeah.
And his grandkids that play now.
Yeah,
Play now.
The
Isaiah and Chris
bloodline
Young.
keeps
And,
on going,
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, Crichton name
Yeah.
is just synonymous with Greyhound athletics and, girls softball. I mean, Josh had a daughter who was, going to college now. Going to college
Who
right now.
thought that- when did they start the softball program out here?
I'm not sure.
Well, the baseball started in 90,
Yeah.
so it had to be, excuse me while I plug this up, it had to be,
I'm not sure when it started. Probably about the same time baseball, I guess.
and I don't know that any of those folks, get recognized.
Into baseball, there's a lot of them that didn't get to play high school baseball here.
But
They were great Legion players.
Kenny Black said this just the other day. One of the things that has in our history that has kind of gotten thrown under the rug because it wasn't a Greyhound deal, but the American Legion baseball program, which was at one time run by a guy by the name of Mr. Don Smith, who just happened to be related to that guy,
Yeah.
and a tremendous baseball program that had more than Newport kids. Always, it was Newport Tuckerman, and then Swifton and guys from McCrory come play. And I mean, if you go back into the 50s, I mean, guys would come from miles around to come play for the Newport Greyhounds, or excuse me, the Newport American Legion baseball team. But I mean, that's something too that we're not going to use in the greatest Greyhounds because they're not Greyhounds. But boy, we played a little Legion ball, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, utility man for the team.
Utility man, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Coach Bubba Parnell.
And there's a guy who got out of college, spent 1 year at Pocahontas, and then came to Newport and spent umpteen years here before going on and retiring and going back to Swifton Middle School for the last several years, and passed away in recent months. That doesn't qualify for the Charitable Foundation Hall of Fame because he's not a Newport High School graduate, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, that's a guy that I'd want to honor. Adele Counts.
Yeah.
I mean, just guys that were our coaches and our mentors, and at the time when you're playing with those guys, when you play under them, you kind of go, well.
Did Duncan graduate from Newport?
He's a baseball pioneer.
Okay.
He's a baseball pioneer, Butch Duncan.
Yeah, I always, growing up, Butch Duncan, baseball, basketball, football, he coached them all.
Bill Osher in basketball, guy who coming up this Friday night, by the way, will be on the air, and it's Newport and Tuckerman playing, I think it's junior girls, and then senior girls, senior boys. Will cover and live stream the girls' game, the senior girls and senior boys' game. But during this time, they're going to dedicate the court publicly, name's already on there, to Coach Bill Ozier, who it's going to be so unique. It's going to be a packed house. I think they're going to have little dribblers also that night. At least I hope they do, and I know they're going to, and it'll be a packed house. But, I mean, there's a guy who would certainly qualify to be honored of naming the court after him, and fittingly so with Newport Tuckerman. He spent a lot of years at Tuckerman. Bill Ozier, the late Bill Ozier, spent a lot of years at Tuckerman. Played on the only state championship basketball team we've ever had at Newport in 1965. 1965, Bill Ozier, Bill Hope, Paul Massey, Donald Ray Smotherman, Mike Allen. 4 seniors and a junior. And beat Harrison by 18 in the finals of the state championship.
Which one was the junior?
Mike Allen.
Mike Allen.
Point guard.
Nettie.
Nettie was a junior. And the other guys were seniors and all pretty good basketball players. But the only state championship we've ever won. And even going back to our football and ground football, and I know we're way off track on where we need to be, but all I've got is time. How about you?
I'm good.
There you go. Of all the years that we've played Greyhound football, 40-something, 50-something years. Playoffs started in 70, so it's 52 years? In 52 years, we've won 2. We've won 2. Now, we've played for 3 others and made some great runs in other years, but only won the state championship 2 times. When the playoffs started, we won a state championship in 1969. 68, you've heard me talk about this. The 68 team went 10-0. The 69 team went 10-1. We were voted, not in 68, the undefeated team, but the 10-1 team as the state champion, and we still recognize that as a state champion. So since the playoffs, only 2, but 3 overall state championships. But you had to win them on the field. But that 68 team and the 69 team were both, phenomenal football teams. The 72 team was a pretty good team, too.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty good team, too.
Yeah.
And they started the playoffs in 70, and 3 years later, it was 50 years ago. We said when we presented the Ronnie Helms jersey that 50 years ago was the first time we ever won a playoff game.
And we beat the team that was probably better than us.
Wynn was better than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wynn beat us 28-7 first game of the year.
Yeah.
We come back beat them 21-15 first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Only the 8 conference champions got to go. It was Newport.
Yeah.
Went to win again, won 21-15, and Joe David had a 63-yard run, cap it off with 4 minutes and 43 seconds to go in the game. Just thought I'd throw those stats in there for you.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, sir. And, great memories, and that's what Ronnie Helms and I were talking about. Folks, if you join us, y'all know this is Benny Smith. We're just talking sports and just carrying on back and forth and talking about a lot of things, talking about Greyhounds. And again, we're going to start the greatest Newport Greyhounds. And it'll be a Facebook program. It'll be a Facebook page, and that's where we'll be honoring these folks coming up here in the next several weeks. And again, we'll have us a sponsor. Could be an exclusive sponsor, maybe 1 or 2, just kind of help pay the way for the time and effort that we're going to put into it. But anyway, I'm looking forward to that. Benny Smith is my first secretive person on the panel, and we appreciate you joining us. We'll probably add a guy named Josh Nation secretly to that panel too.
Have you told him yet?
No, I have now.
Yeah,
I have now. He's been added because he can give us a lot of the girl sides of things, and we'll have us a little committee, and we'll meet, and the final say-so will come down to whatever the committee decides we're going to do. And how many we're going to honor. And again, you got to. We'll set some stipulations. This is how many's going to be in the first class, and this is how we're going to put them on Facebook. And you don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time but I'm going to spend a lot of time in researching and finding out. We don't want to miss anybody. And over the course, we can't name everybody the first go around. It's going to take us a little time.
We're going to need an expert back in the 50s.
That's correct.
60, maybe dipping down in the 40 era.
You know who was a great football player? Goat McKee. Goat McKee was a great Newport Greyhound football player.
Actually, I think I remember him being a center.
That's right. Claude A. Fauché was a good football player. Claude A. Fauché was a good football player.
Oh, yeah.
Now, going back a few years now, but I don't remember when they played. Big Bezo Nicholson, the late Bezo Nicholson was a great football. The Nicholson family.
Yeah.
Jimmy Don, Sam, Gary, Big Bezo, Rock'em Sock'em Bezo Knock'em, or Rock'em Sock'em Bezo.
Nick.
Yeah, Nick Nicholson.
Yeah.
What a.
I'm trying to remember his real name, Colin.
Well, Nick, just Nick Nicholson. It is Nick, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
But I mean, he's another great one, and Brett Nicholson, what a phenomenal basketball and baseball player he was. I mean, good a baseball player, and Kenny Black, big sign that's up at the park right now as you come into the park, left hand side, and Coach Ben Reynolds had come to me and said he wanted to help honor Kenny, and Coach Reynolds followed Coach Black and had a tremendous program himself, and carried on a great tradition. But Kenny Black was the coach that started it in 1990, and I look back at Brett Nicholson, and then he and Zach Harris were the 1 and 2 pitchers on a baseball team, and both those guys. And I want to talk a little bit about Zach Harris. He, probably as fierce a competitor that I've ever been around, or ever since my time, since I know. But what a good one. I mean, he was just, and I know you remember him on playing football, and he played baseball and didn't do a lot of basketball, but he could run track. He could do a college baseball player at 3 different colleges, but what a tremendous athlete that Zach Harris was. A great competitor.
You do that, and then I remember his daddy Ricky.
Right.
I mean, killing people out there at linebacker on football.
I've said this for years. I mean, I thought pound for pound as good as linebacker we've ever had.
Yeah.
At Newport. And let me tell you what, Newport has been a linebacker factory. I mean, a linebacker. Darnell Hitman Morgan comes to mind, and Jimmy Neal. I mean, just.
It was I can't remember his name, but it was back. Keedy coached in every game. It sounded like he had 3 or 4 hits that you could hear up in the stands. Money Kane.
Yeah, Money Kane. Oh, yeah, Money Kane. Gary Kane. Money Kane.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I mean, licks you could hear up in the stands.
Yes, sir.
Everybody'd go, one of those type deals.
Well, and Darnell the Hitman, they call him the Hitman.
What did he weigh, about 170?
165, 170 pounds.
Yeah. Gary Money Kane.
Yeah, Gary Money Kane.
Yeah.
Yes. During those Coach Keedy years, Ronnie Brown, Ronnie Jones were there. Ronnie Brown more or longer than Ronnie Jones. I think Ronnie Jones was only there the 1 year that I was really more involved in the broadcasting part of it, because it's 81. I was actually coaching in 78, 79, and 80. But anyway, I got to broadcast and help broadcast on the sidelines as the sideline reporter, especially during that 81 championship year. But I've often said this. I thought one of the greatest linebackers that ever played here was Billy Warren. One of the greatest linebackers that ever played here was Billy Warren. It was just phenomenal, It's amazing how good that guy really was. I mean, he wasn't just a great running back. He rushed for almost 6,000 yards, and still, I think, in the top 10, maybe the top 15 in the state of Arkansas. But he was a tremendous linebacker. But Money Kane's one of those guys that we've had 50 or maybe 100 great linebackers.
You can sit here. We can sit here at 10 o'clock.
Oh, I know.
Name these people off.
Yeah.
It ain't no big deal. It comes to you.
Yeah, you said, "Boy, I remember that."
Yeah.
Matthew Teddy Robinson was a good one. I know folks might not remember Matthew, but I think he came over from Wynn and just a tremendous linebacker. We're just having fun with my good friend Benjamin Winfield Smith. Show him your jersey one more time. Sloan Helms wrote me a real nice note and gave me a box full of Greyhound memorabilia a couple of years ago. That's a lot of his personal stuff. And I wanted Benny Smith to have this jersey, and he'll put that in his sports memorabilia Hall of Fame that you have over there.
Yes, I have a.
Unique, isn't it?
Yeah, it's local talent.
Yeah.
I focus on local talent.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's go back to this guy. Trivia question of the night: wins what?
a box of 1991 PGA Tour cards. It's a complete set in the box, never has been opened. And it's got one of Arkansas's favorite in it, John Daly. And it's got all the stars in there, Lee Trevino, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, the whole set.
John Pennington says Terry Dillon made 26 tackles against Jonesboro in 1968. Pretty good night.
Oh, yeah.
Dillon and Payne.
Yeah.
Dillon and Payne on 68.
Yeah, see, we hadn't even mentioned it.
I have before. And
Yeah.
we watched some film of Kearney Blaylock earlier. And then I sit there and told you, I said, guys, you need to watch some of this film of these guys playing defense. I mean, my goodness gracious. I have the shirt over here, the one of Calvin James that I've talked about 100 times. And what a great football player and a great story. I'm not going to tell that story tonight. But we want to figure out, I guess the trivia question, you will win this box of cards if you can tell us what about this.
Who it is.
Who is this guy? That is a Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah,
but
it's not Mr. Potato Head, but you have to name who it is.
Who is that? And that's a former big league manager.
Yeah. He
and a good one.
he
won
with the Marlins
and
the Cubs,
and the Cubs
and the Angels.
won World Series with this guy.
Yeah.
So, hi, Alan Cordell. How you doing? Shane Addington watching. Hank Pierce watching. Logan Morris. And our good friend and usually the poster of the year, Darla Nation, is also watching tonight. Thanks, Darla. Chris Driver's watching. Harold Gibbs watching. Trey Graham's watching. We just need somebody to tell us what Major League Manager that guy is, that's right in front of my good friend Winfield Smith. Who, by the way, that's what Ronnie Helms still calls you.
Yes,
you still call him Sloan.
I have. There's about 10, 15, 20 people have called me Winfield all my life.
I call you Bunty a lot, but I like Winfield.
Yeah.
Hey, Winfield.
I call you Buddy.
Yeah.
I called you Birdcage the other day.
You did, and
Yeah,
I got a letter from you the other day, and appreciate the letter, but
Yeah.
addressed to Buddy Black. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And how did I get that name? Do you remember?
Which one, the Birdcage?
No, but Birdcage or Buddy, either one. Birdcage.
Well, Buddy was your dad's name.
Right.
And that was just how it was, you know. You're
Right.
Buddy Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach Cass would call me Buddy Black from time to time.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He said, get over here, buddy. He go, oh, I'm sorry, David. I'm sorry. I guess, sometimes they call me Kenny Black,
Yeah. See, Bud, he was Bud. You're the Buddy.
Todd Norris is the winner. Todd Norris. Joe Madden is correct. Todd Norris is our winner of the box of 91 cards.
Yeah, he can pick them up here.
I'll get with you and I'll bring them to you. I'll get them to you, my friend. I'll get them.
Unopened.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good stack of cards.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it's got John Daly in it, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Lee Trevino.
So, on to the next. What do we have that is some of our one-of-a-kind pieces of memorabilia that you have in the Smith's Sports Museum? It says the Enforcer. What is that, Benny?
Piece of professional wrestling memorabilia.
History, huh?
History.
Oh, my goodness.
When the lineman, Chris Bryant, run WFAC, wrestling for a cause across from the Sonic, the Enforcer wrestled there. He wrestled in the hardcore matches. Anything goes.
Let me see this. Let's go.
He would bring that out and let my youngest son hold it for him in the crowd. And he said, when I need it, I'm going to come get it.
Okay.
Warren, when he was about 8 or 9 years old, he would sit over and, boy, have a death grip on this thing. Nobody was going to touch it until the enforcer, he'd come and get it. And he'd pop, pop.
Have to bop somebody on the head with that.
Well, one night, he told Warren, he said, it's yours.
Unbelievable.
And he put it in the museum.
That's a pretty good piece,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
That's a pretty
one
good-
of a kind.
That's a
right
one
there.
of a kind. We've got more from. You call it the Smith's Sports Museum?
Museum, yeah.
Smith.
And
Smith's.
It's there for local talent.
Yeah, local talent only.
Yeah, I don't go out and. It's got to be connected locally. It's
Right.
like this next one. See if you can get that out of that deal. I'll introduce it. The night Coach Keedy was inducted in the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame, I noticed there was going to be a Razorback down there, and I sent this with Psycho.
Should I touch it?
Oh, yeah. Psycho Wilson, Stephen Wilson, to get Lighthouse Harry Jones's signature.
Really?
Yeah.
Number 23.
Yeah, Lighthouse Harry Jones.
Somewhere in Oklahoma. Set that down there, Benny, and let the folks take a picture of that.
Okay.
Autographed. Played on the 64, 65 teams at
Yes.
Arkansas.
Jones. Yeah, it's got Jones on it. Harry Jones.
Lighthouse
right there.
Harry Jones.
Lighthouse Harry Jones.
That is a classic piece right there. That is a classic piece. No doubt about that. One and one only, and exclusively.
Yeah, well, delivered to me by Psycho Stephen Wilson.
That's the
what
unique part.
separates
There
it
you
from
go.
everything.
Delivered
A
by-
local
yeah.
guy took that down there,
Right. Got it signed.
got it for me,
Yeah.
and brought it back.
Well, that's only one of a kind, just like that one.
Light horse. That's easy for you to say.
Light horse. Light
horse.
Had a light
Light
horse.
horse Harry Jones.
Even number
yeah.
23, and he was from Oklahoma. He was
brought to me and had autographed by Psycho Wilson.
unbelievable. One of a kind. And I
All
don't-
right, I didn't empty this, but it has a purpose. Coors Light put out bat bottles. See how it's got the
Oh, it
tape?
looks like a little
a bat.
Yeah.
And I was at a flea market down in Cabot or somewhere down right off the interstate. So I went in.
It looks like a baseball bat. Yeah.
a bat. Bat bottles, what they call it. I went and researched this with Kenny Colley.
Right. Yeah.
Worked over at Bud,
Right.
over at Coors at the
Right.
time, and I want you to read who's on the end of it there.
Down on this end.
Yeah,
I would assume that's your favorite player of all
yes,
time.
it is.
I would assume that's number 44.
Yes,
I would assume that is Reggie Jackson.
yeah, and it says underneath it the 500
500
home run club.
Awesome piece, my friend.
Can you believe it? I got that at a flea market in Cabot,
Limited edition.
limited edition. Yeah,
And one only that
Yeah.
we have
I
in
know.
the sports.
yeah, bat bottle.
There you go. Exclusively over at Ben's place. What else, Ben? What else did you bring us to intrigue
I
us
got a
with tonight?
picture of
Hi, Jennifer Keedy.
two local talents. Y'all will probably recognize the guy on the left. I don't know if you'll recognize the, wait a minute, yeah, on the right. One of them is Donnie Peter Jackson. And he's shaking hands with a guy that drives race cars. Y'all probably know him as Mark Martin.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that
They were at a convention for
Set it right up here, let him zoom in on
Stroh's
that.
Light.
Set
Yeah,
it.
Stroh's Light. Donnie Jackson and Mark Martin.
That is cool.
As far as I know, this is the only picture that exists of these two guys together at one time.
Petey.
Which
Pete-
one's
Petey looks-
taller?
I believe Mark's got him.
Oh.
I believe Mark's got him.
Nah, he's probably wearing elevator shoes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Little Petey Jackson, our little
This
friend.
next one, when you see the name on the cap, you'll recognize who it's from, and it's signed by him on the bill of the
Oh
cap.
my goodness, you talking about an archived piece?
Grubbs Blue Jays, signed by the Blue Jay of all time, Sugar Shane Hutchinson.
One of a kind.
Hey, as far as I know, he is not signed anymore.
That is an
Yeah.
honorable piece.
Yeah. And there's a
Sugar.
sticker on there, no fear. I don't know where he got that. That signature's starting to fade a little bit. Remind me to get that re-signed.
Okay. All right, what's up next, Big Ben?
Okay. 2 golf balls. They look like
Regular golf balls, huh?
normal golf balls.
Right? Are these golf balls special?
They're very special.
What's special about these golf balls? And I don't know. I just told Benny to bring some
About
stuff.
4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little longer, me and Kenny Fletcher, Flabby Fletcher,
Cha-cha!
we took a trip out with our wives to San Francisco to catch a couple of ball games. And we drove up to Pebble Beach.
Doc Brown's watching Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
What's up, Doc?
Doc.
How's it going, buddy?
Well, anyway, somebody had hit these on the bank of the ocean. And Fletcher says, I'll go down and get them.
Okay.
He had to go down this bank and all that. And he had to time it just right because the ocean was coming in and out. And he managed to grab the 2 balls and only got wet from like mid-thigh down.
Really?
Yeah. But he held the balls out. He said, I got them. So these 2 are from Pebble Beach.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And by a local talent who went out and got them.
Yes, sir. He procured it, didn't he?
Yeah, he said, I'll go get them for you.
Yep, to put them in the
I said,
sports
okay. Yeah.
museum.
Yeah.
Ben, what else do you have, little?
Well, Cherokee Nation's he's gonna get a kick out of this one. This is not just your average softball trophy. This comes from Annual Training National Guard 1991.
Oh, wow.
And it says it down here. Can you read that, buddy? Or you need to get some more powerful glasses.
Now, let me see what it says. It says first place,
First place.
Delta Company,
Yeah.
2nd Battalion,
Yeah.
Delta.
Annual Training, 1991.
Yeah. The 91 didn't make it home. We was celebrating a little bit too much with it and broke off the 91. But
Oh, well,
I was the captain.
it's original.
Yes, that's the only one like it.
Yes, sir.
It was won by local people, me and Jerry Brown and people like that. It was just this is only one.
That is so
Yeah.
cool. That is so cool.
All right.
All right. Benny has more, folks. He has more one of a kind, only one in the history of sports.
This is one of my favorites. Sweetness.
He could run the ball, couldn't he?
Walter Payton.
He could run the ball, couldn't he? Put him up there a little bit. Let him wobble a little bit. Now, do you remember how you got Walter Payton? You don't have to. It's not. If you don't want to divulge that information, you don't have to.
Actually, I bought that somewhere, and at the time, right now, I can't remember. It was over Jonesboro at the at a sports shop over there. Yeah.
Okay. And how many bobbleheads are you up to now?
I'm up over 200 now.
200 bobbleheads.
Yeah.
And Sherry has them displayed where?
In the we call it the parlor,
Okay.
but I call it the bobblehead room.
There you go. Rightfully
Pistol
so.
Pete Maravich.
44?
44.
Had
The
a
pistol on the back.
That's
the
right.
pistol. He was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks.
Let me see his socks. Are they down?
Yeah.
Ah!
Got the saggy gray socks. Do you ever wash them?
No. He said for about 8 years. He said they really stunk up the gymnasium. But that's a one of a kinder, I guarantee you. That is so neat, man.
Okay. Back to wrestling. I wouldn't say I was a steady spectator, but I was there enough for the lineman for my birthday one year. Had all the wrestlers sign a T-shirt.
Wow.
I think big enough to fit the lineman almost. On this side, it's got on that back side, and y'all probably recognize this guy. He was the ref, Joey Britt.
Joey Britt.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
One of a kind stuff,
Hey,
isn't it?
this has got to be because I don't even. know if some of them guys are even still wrestling or not, but hey, it was a heck of a gift.
I got into a conversation the other day somewhere about wrestlers, and it might have been on Facebook. We were just talking about some of the great wrestlers, Al Spider Galento down through the years, Dwayne Peele.
Yeah, right here at the High Ho.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
High-Ho.
had Jackie
Talking about Dan Holbrook.
Yeah, he brought in good talent.
Absolutely. Well, I said this on this show, and I'm going to say it again. Dan Holbrook, in his time, in my time as a kid, this guy had a swimming pool that was out on the Lacey Farm down by White River. He had a racetrack out there. He had a go-kart track. They played softball. They played baseball out there. One of the great entrepreneurs in Newport, Arkansas
the
history.
The racetrack was motorcycles.
And they had go-karts too, because my dad.
Yeah, I remember the go-kart.
Yeah.
But I really remember the motorcycles.
Motorcycles. Yeah, sure did.
And
But anyway, and opened up the skating rink here that's still standing today. Mr. Holbrook and Miss Holbrook actually lived back there in the small house that's right behind the skating rink that's taken over by IMAD now. But they built that and also had a little basketball court in it, played a little basketball when we were kids. And then he had carnivals and he had circuses, men's and women's softball out there.
Yeah, back part.
At the High Ho Dairy owned a Dairy Queen. I mean, Dan Holbrook,
Did you
as far as
he cut hair?
It was a barber too. Yeah, he and his son Gerald too.
Yeah.
But one of the people whose name is synonymous with being an entrepreneur for kids and stuff and adults alike for things to do. I mean, this guy had a great big old swimming pool out there. I mean, like a public swimming pool you could pay to come swim, and they had that, and then we had the one over at Rimmel Park also. But this, I remember this one being huge, but Dan Holbrook's a guy who probably doesn't get enough recognition when you talk about the history of Newport, Arkansas, and what he did to keep us busy. Had we had cell phones and YouTube and all that back in the day, we'd still been going to Mr. Holbrook's.
Oh, yeah.
Genius of a man. A genius of a man, and a pretty good barber, too. You ever get your haircut there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you get any Vitalis put on there?
Huh?
Did you get any Vitalis put on there?
Oh, yeah, right there in the front.
Yes, sir. Get
that thing up.
Yes, sir. Vitalis.
I went swimming out there. I went to wrestling there.
Yes, had wrestling.
The whole Dan Holbrook 9 yards.
Had a youth softball. I mean, a youth a basketball league out there. And I mean, it was just amazing. It was amazing and the skating part. I mean, skating at old place.
Never could skate.
Oh, I
tried, but
yeah.
I hurt myself.
My dad was a great skater, and I got the medals up there somewhere.
Yeah, I can remember.
Yeah,
seeing
he and Mom
that.
were both great skaters, and they taught us how to skate. And I love skating, roller skating. And reminds me of Shauna Worthington, Shauna Beasley.
I remember at Sonic.
Sonic. She was. I mean, you see it all the time, and people skate out. So nobody ever did. Yeah, Shauna did. I still call her the skater.
Oh yeah.
She's the skater.
Never spilled a drink.
No, she'd skate right out there with your order, and she'd skate right back in to get another.
That's back during the day when they hung the tray on the window.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'll roll your window down a little bit, but leave about that far up. Yeah. Things have changed, haven't they? You got any more stuff in there, Big Ben?
I've got one more deal, and it's, to me, the greatest Razorback
Is this the last one?
basketball, yeah, of all time.
32?
Well,
Or was he playing the NBA?
he was playing in the NBA here. He was with
Okay.
the Bucks. Sidney Moncrief. He's even got his receding hairline thing there, if you can see that.
Pretty cool. It looks just like Sid.
Yeah. But to me, he's the all-time greatest Razorback basketball player.
Well, when Eddie Sutton recruited, and Moncrief, I guess, was a year behind Marvin Delph and Ron Brewer. But when he got those three guys up there, they were originally called the triplets, the first set of triplets that were ever up there. And, boy, I just know the Sports Illustrated, the picture with Moncrief comes slamming it down. And, I mean, that's another story about great Razorback stuff. But that's a great piece there, too. That is a great piece there. Why a sports museum, Ben? Why collect all this stuff? What's in your heart about it?
I just like having it.
Yeah.
I just like having a place where somebody says, hey man, I was fixing to throw this stuff away. Do you want it?
Yeah.
And I look at it and I go, yeah, I want it. Yeah. Why you gonna throw that stuff? Why my wife? I shouldn't say that, but somebody told me I had to get rid of it. And blah blah blah. And I face value, what do you call it?
Monetary, yeah.
It's
That doesn't mean anything.
no, it's nothing to it. I just like it's like Big Sloan's jersey,
Yeah.
Sam Nicholson's jersey.
Yeah.
It's something I like to have.
It's kind of like that shirt I've got up there on the wall over there.
Yeah.
It's something just kind of.
Yeah,
That's one of a kind
if you
too.
put money value on everything, ain't much there. But boy, a lot of memories. It's like having that Buddy Black Tire softball jersey. You know,
Right,
it
yeah.
hanging up.
Yeah, yeah,
Wouldn't take anything for it.
yeah. Buddy Black Tire Store.
Yeah,
And I got matter of fact, see all those trophies at the top?
yeah.
I got some 1957, 58, 59. Buddy Black Tire Store. We sponsored the team. I've got another little thing from Ronnie Helms where Case Power and Equipment sponsored it. We'll show you that later, though. And I don't know, just those old trophies are kind of hard to get rid of.
All
You
right.
know what I mean? It just got to
Yeah.
mean a little something.
Yeah.
Or Pee Wee basketball
It's
stuff.
like them two golf balls, knowing where they came from and watching Fletcher go out there in the ocean and grab them.
Pretty neat, wasn't it?
Priceless, yeah, priceless.
Do you remember when we had these?
Oh yeah, yeah. We used to stick them on the bottom of our blue jean bell bottoms. I did.
This is a deal I tried to find the other day. And talking about Ronnie Helms, I've told this story before. We have the little ribbons, and I've got one up there, and I don't hand me a ribbon. Okay. They used to do these little ribbons. And then one year, they decided they weren't going to do the little ribbons because people peeled them off and they really made a mess. But what they decided to do would take these these are stickers, they have adhesive. And the story about this sticker, it's one that beat Batesville, was that Ronnie Helms from game, hi Ben Black, Ronnie
Black.
Helms from game 2 against Osceola Seminoles took his off his shirt and pasted it on my left hip pad. And we won that game. And the next week he did the same. He took the one that said beat Osceola. The next week, Blyville, or whoever, Blyville. Beat Blyville, put it on there. We did that every game for an 11-game winning streak. Okay? When it came for the championship game time, that was the week that we weren't in school because it was during the Thanksgiving holiday, and they didn't make one of these.
Oh,
They
now I
didn't.
know why we lost.
It's the only reason why we lost. Because Ronnie Helms, who gave you that jersey, would put that on my left hip pad, and he put it on there right before we went out to warm up, or maybe right before we played. And I remember like yesterday, he'd peel that other one off, and he'd put that on there for it. He said, let's go. But it's stuff like that you're talking about, memorabilia, and worth nothing to anybody else out there.
Right, yeah.
But I wonder how many of these are still out there.
I ain't got any of them.
No,
I ain't even got any of the ribbons.
I've got a few of those. I've got a few. Do you have? I know you've got one of these, don't you? Babe Ruth baseball patch.
No?
Man, you should. You were on the All-Star team for a couple of years. So you ought to have a patch there. That's just good stuff.
John Clark
Little Johnny.
gave me his when we went to state tournament when we were 14,
Right.
and he gave me his thing you hang on the wall. It had all of our names on it and stuff.
You're talking about a little plaque?
Yeah. His had everybody's.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he gave that to me. Not
Is
too
that
long ago.
right?
Yeah,
That's awesome, isn't it?
yeah.
That's awesome. I've got a couple of pictures of that, and 8x10 pictures. I guess they were black and white pictures of the team, and we told stories on here before about going to Springdale and playing at tournament up there, and we were 14. And Little Johnny Clark, former Newport resident. I guess he was a Rimmel resident for a long, long time, and then he moved to the big city, and now down Little Rock where his kids and grandkids are, and
Maumelle.
Maumelle, yeah.
Maumelle.
But
hoping to get him in for the Super Bowl party
yeah,
this year.
yeah. He's a one of a kind too, isn't he?
You bet.
I told the story. I'll tell it again. John, who I love dearly, and when he got into the teaching business, and I was in the 9th grade, and he was my 9th grade science teacher, and when I went to college, before I went to college, he said, "Man, you need to become a school teacher. You need that's a great boy. It's a great thing." So I really admired John and looked up to him. He coached us in baseball, but anyway, I went on to become a teacher, and then after I was a teacher for a couple of years, John was selling cars down at Lakeside Chevrolet. He said, "Oh man, you need to come down here. You need to be a car salesman. You need to come on down here and be a car salesman." I quit teaching to be a car salesman, and I did that for 13, 14 years, and then all during that time, he'd say, "Oh, you need to come down here and sell insurance for me down here at Shelter Insurance." And I didn't do that, and I'm glad I did. My course, my last course might have changed had I done that, but that was always John encouraging me to do something positive and to be a good Christian man. And little Johnny Clark.
He could sell that insurance.
He could sell some insurance. Boy, if you had a claim now, you're in a little different story.
Well, yeah, but it come out of his.
Oh, he cut that.
It
It vacation time.
Yeah,
Not vacation. I got a trip coming up.
Yeah. Can I add 10,000 to your
You're pretty.
insurance policy? I got this trip to so and so coming up. Yeah, John.
Thank you, Mary Eves. I appreciate it. It's been one of the best Cover 15 broadcasts. And anytime you can get Benny Smith on, Jennifer Kitty loving all of Benny's stuff, Carol Ann, Brandon Darnell watching, Shira Johnson watching, Brandon Mathis, Mr. Bob Osborne, Scott Ward watching, William Penn Stafford, Ricky Morales watching the program tonight.
Pretty boy Ricky Morales.
And Doc says, "Glad to see you, Benny. Glad to see you back."
Thank you, Doc.
Benny back.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. That's Doc.
Who was our prize winner?
Todd Norris.
Todd Norris.
Todd Norris.
Good deal. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Delta Trailer Manufacturing.
Yeah.
We went a little longer. I can't even hardly talk. We went a little longer than what we were supposed to go tonight. But when you get Benny Smith,
time, man?
what is time?
I've got plenty of.
What
now.
else you want to talk about? I mean,
I'm just fixing to say I've got plenty of time now. It
Okay.
didn't look like I was going to have any time there for a while.
Oh, yes.
Plenty of time, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
knew I had to come back and do another show.
Well, we'll talk more in the future, man. I don't care to keep talking right now. What do you remember about American Legion Baseball? Who are some of the great American Legion Baseball players you remember right here in Newport?
Well, I've always claimed that Mike Allen was the fastest person I've ever seen run.
Yeah, he could go.
Yeah.
Great track guy.
Yeah, he was an all-sport guy,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, football, basketball, baseball, track. He did it all. Yeah.
But
Been
I've
some
seen
great
them
ones.
all. Bull Baker, Paul McGinnis,
Blackburn,
Blackburn.
Charlie Blackburn.
Yeah. But I've always said if I had to get one person out, I'd have called bullpen and get Kenny Black in there.
Is that right?
He had that little slow left-hand curve deal that nobody could hit.
Right.
One batter.
Just need
I
one
told him
out.
that before. I'd listed him on that deal, you know.
Right.
If I had one person to face, I'd bring in Kenny Black every time.
He could get him out, couldn't he?
Oh, they couldn't hit it.
Oh, slow curve. I remember called a 5-0 game in the 1970 Babe Ruth State Tournament. We beat Jonesboro 5-0 at Corning. He shut Jonesboro out that day. And then when he was 16 years old, he pitched a 3-0 shutout against Forest City in 1972. That was Coach Parnell's 100th Legion victory at Newport. And Kenny still got the game ball. And there's a guy who's he doesn't have a museum, but he's been a big collector of sports stuff down through the years.
Yeah.
And how's Ben Black? Need to be on the set? You good? You've been working, haven't you, brother? Josh said he's waiting on you to get here to take over for him. So Josh has to work overtime now. We've been here longer than we thought we were going to be, but I certainly enjoyed visiting with Benny Smith. So.
We never did get predictions on the national championship.
No, I wasn't really ready to go, but we got several videos to show. What 2 Chicks Florist birthday report coming up here in just a little bit, and then what I consider one of the great moments in sports history in Newport. A little recap of that, Sports Unleashed Customized, a look back that we'll show you when Benny goes, but and then pretty good ending to our program. But Ben, who do you have? TCU, Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia's a 13, 14 point favorite right now.
It's a 2-part deal. I want TCU to win.
Okay.
But I know Georgia will, 42-24.
Georgia's got a great football team.
I have this
defending
thing,
national champ.
I have this thing about me I don't pull for SEC teams.
Right.
Because of Arkansas.
Right.
I can't sit there like today and watch Mississippi State play somebody and go, oh, I'm from Mississippi, since they beat us.
Right.
I just don't. It's a game I don't play. Everybody said, why can't you pull for SEC teams? Well, I do, Arkansas.
You do, don't
Yeah.
you? Before you give your prediction, I'll say this.
I already give it.
I was going to ask you you
Go
gave
ahead.
the score too.
Yeah.
I will say this. When you bring seriously, one-of-a-kind items that we displayed here tonight. One of a kind. And there's a story behind almost every item. There may be others out there, but they're one of a kind depending on who brought that to the Smith Sports Museum. And how imperative or how important is it that we have a guy on our program tonight who what I would say would be one of a kind. There's not another one like this guy.
Thank you, bud.
Not another one like Benjamin
Thank you.
Winfield Smith.
All right.
Born February 25th, 1956.
Right.
How's that?
Yeah.
How'd that do?
Good.
Did
You
pretty
hit it. You hit it.
Been friends a long time, haven't we?
Long time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you getting all that stuff loaded up.
66.
Yeah, how can all that up?
I would say around 59, 60 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm only 53.
Well, I feel like I'm 94. So we hit it somewhere in the middle.
At one time, Ben Smith, I didn't think I'd ever get to do another show with you again, but boy, I'm glad you're here, brother. Glad
It's a
you're
close call, and I appreciate you being there.
here. Yes,
for
sir.
me.
I was there. A lot of prayers
Yeah.
and
I came to, when they picked me up in the ambulance, and we left the driveway. Next 4 days, I came to 3 times. First time we was leaving Little Rock, and they fixed to put me on a helicopter, and I came to and I looked, and Greg Deal, my preacher, and David Black was standing there. And
we were Cersei, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of waved. I guess I waved at them or something. They came over and talked to me a few minutes.
What you said was, "Hey, buddy."
I remember coming to, and I could see y'all as clear as day.
They were working on you. I can
Yeah.
assure you. They were working
They
on you.
put me on the helicopter, and I came to, and I looked down. Till this day, I don't know why I even said. I asked that helicopter pilot. I said, "Is that 6:30 down there?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll bring you into St. Vincent's right now." And I'm like, "Okay." How I knew where I was at, till
Really?
this day, I don't know.
Really?
And then right before they took me in for surgery, I came to, and there was Kevin Pierce, Sugar Shane, Doc Love, and Pretty Ricky. And that's the only 3 things I remember in 4 days.
Nice to have friends, isn't it?
Whew, you ain't kidding.
Nice to have friends. I won't give you the liberty of showing that scar.
Yeah, sure it'd kill me if I did that.
And we had to make a decision before we went on the air tonight. We decided that we weren't going to go shirtless for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. It wouldn't be real pretty. I don't think we'd have a lot of you. We appreciate everybody watching tonight. We've got some other videos coming up. Again, the what I consider one of the great moments in sports history, and it's the call of Hayden Schultz and Ben Black down at district basketball tournament last year at Riverview against Mountain View when the Hounds trailed by 5 points and had literally no, absolute zero chance to win the basketball game. Trailing by 5 with under a minute to go, and they had the basketball. And anyway, it wasn't going to happen, but anyway, we got that footage coming up, plus the 2 Chicks of Florist birthday report and the ending ad set. We thank all of our sponsors. We thank Benny once again for bringing all the stuff.
Thank you, buddy.
For Josh Nation, for Hayden Schultz, who's on assignment elsewhere, for Ben Black, who has joined us in the studios, for Linda Black, who helps run the show, Benny Black, David Black. Till next time, so long, everybody.
Moore brings it up. Step back. M&P Insurance three-pointer is good. And they foul immediately Johnson. Johnson will go to the other end to shoot 2.
5.6 seconds to go. It's a 2-point ball game.
It's a 2-point game. 5.6 seconds to go.
Hounds got to have a stop here. Rebound and a quick get it rid of it.
It's long. Crack. Board. Goes to Moore. Moore goes up. Shot up. Get it to go! He got it to go! Oh my goodness, folks! Go crazy! Go crazy!
The Greyhound.
Oh my gosh!
Court, folks.
Unbelievable! John Moore at the buzzer! Hounds win and punch their ticket here to Mountain View! Unbelievable, folks!
Unbelievable, Hayden Schultz. The Hounds trailed the
John
entire
Moore!
ball game. And John Moore
called game!
Wow, that is absolutely
gosh.
unbelievable. Josh.
We've said it once, we've said it again, Ben. How about them Greyhounds, baby?
Man. That's unbelievable, Hayden Schultz. That is unbelievable.
I thought he was hammered there as he shot the 3. I knew they weren't going to call it regardless of the outcome, and you shouldn't. And it somehow rattles home at the buzzer.
Unbelievable.
And the Hounds punch a ticket to a regional berth. And guess what, Ben? We're coming back tomorrow.
We'll be back. No, excuse me. It'll be Friday. We're off tomorrow. We'll come back Friday and play here. Listen to this Greyhound Nation celebrating here tonight. Listen to these Greyhound fans.
Unbelievable effort from both teams.
Well, the fight in these Hounds just to not quit, Hayden.
Well, I want to.
Game's over. Game's over with 17 seconds. You're down by, what, 5-6 points? But these Hounds didn't see it that way. Mountain View thought they had it in the bag. Great game by those young men. But the Hounds just refused to lose. They would not take no for an answer. And John Moore comes up clutch with a big 3-point shot.
That is a gritty
Buzzer
bunch
beater.
of Mountain View.
That's unbelievable. The way that ended right there is absolutely unbelievable. We're going to go down to the court now with David Black.
going to talk with Pootie Den first, then we'll talk to Nolan, then John Moore. Pootie, you hit the three-pointers, you kept hitting them, and just let me tell you what, for an eighth grader, you're doing great, my friend. What does it feel like to see John Moore hit that big shot?
Good. I about cried. I about cried, too, when everybody started jumping on top of everybody. I didn't want to get anybody hurt. I hope everybody joins us. No, tell me about this big victory.
It was crazy, man. Coach would tell us hold them to 40. We just had to get 41.
Hey, guys. Hey, hold on. Keep going. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. John Moore, incredible comeback. We didn't have a chance. We didn't have a prayer. We came in here as a 9 seed, and nobody gave us any credit to do anything. And we're going to a regional, and we play Friday night. Real quick, absolutely incredible, my friend. How did that get done?
Man, I just believe. My coach believed in me. He's like, John, they get it, take it. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. I about cried too, man.
John Moore, glad you're in Newport, Arkansas, my friend.
Too.
The Unity Health Newport player of the game. John Moore had a baby. Y'all ready? Okay, the Subway Coaches Report. Coach, I know you've coached a few years in your life. I know you coached a lot of AAU basketball. Have you ever seen anything as incredible as that?
No, sir. No, sir. No, I'm at a loss for words right now.
Well, that's understandable. Great crowd. I want you to talk about the folks from Newport, Arkansas that showed up tonight.
They don't understand how much that means to the boys. Like, we've had some decent crowds at Newport, and up to this point, we've let them down. You know, so the big message there was they're here. What are we going to do with it? I mean, can't do much more than that right there.
Coach, I know you want to get in and celebrate with them, but I want to just ask you just maybe one more question. We've talked about the resiliency of these kids. 5 games in 6 days. Nobody outside of us, nobody but us, gave us a real chance to make it to a regional because we're a 9 seed. We got to win 3 in a row. We're on the road. My friend, we're going to a regional.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're a 9 seed, and everybody wants to keep reminding me of that for whatever reason, but a 9 seed just made regionals. Let me tell you a story real quick. We went to halftime 20-15, right? What's our goal of the season per quarter?
At 10?
10 points per quarter. So I told them, I looked them in the face, and I said, we can expect them to get 40. Can we get to 41?
Unbelievable.
And the final was 41-40.
Unbelievable. Coach, I know you got to go. Congratulations. An awesome night to be a Newport Greyhound. Our program is on the upswing, and we're going to another regional. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Go Hounds, man.
As always, go Hounds.
Go Hounds.
To those folks celebrating birthdays this week, Two Chicks Forest Moore birthday report. And a reminder from Two Chicks that spring's right around the corner. Once you hit January the 1st, it's not too soon to start thinking about that planting season that's coming up real quick. Go by and check out all the merchandise and all the things that they're going to have new at Two Chicks Forest Moore for all spring planting. Happy birthday today on January the 2nd to Pam Bradley Raymond. She has a birthday today. Jay Kimbrough from over in Mississippi with a birthday. Henry Turner also celebrates a birthday on today. And Heath or Nancy George with a birthday, and I think it's Heath's birthday today. Happy birthday to you, sir. Perry Curtis from over at Harrisburg turns 59 years old. Lisa Hewlett-Delcase with a birthday today. And also today's birthday, Vincent Burton has a birthday. Lucas Anderson, Kristen Wilson also with a birthday today. Amber Davis also celebrating a birthday today. She's 34 years old. And those celebrating birthdays tomorrow on the 3rd include Mary Sanders and Marcus Embry. Also, Chris Rutledge has a birthday. Michael Bright, Sharon Henshaw, Schonberg has a birthday on January the 3rd. Barbara Pennington also tomorrow. Tim Watson, the good attorney, the good lawyer, happy birthday to you, my friend. And there's a bunch of birthdays on Wednesday, January the 4th, including Christy James Miller. Tina Van Winkle has a birthday. April Glover Mullins, Randy Whitehead. Hannah Nicholson has a birthday on January the 4th. Bethany Davis, Austin Carter. Coda Minton with a birthday. Ori Allen also has a birthday on Wednesday. Brad Hutchinson, David Honey. Madison Lovelady, happy birthday to you. Lindsey Johnson and Megan Shipman, all with birthdays on Thursday. Others celebrating birthdays this Thursday, Joey Penix with a birthday. Nathan Krotz also celebrates his birthday. Carolyn Woodard has a birthday. Sarah Marie Laster with a birthday on January the 5th. Also, Coach Jimmy Skirm, Tuckerman's finest, with a birthday on January the 5th. A couple of birthdays on Friday. Cindy Brown Kynard with a birthday. Barry Sellers also celebrates a birthday on Friday. And then Saturday's birthdays, Nick Templeton, Denzel Taylor, John White with a birthday, Chris Jackson. Garrett Laster celebrates his birthday on Saturday the 7th, as does Debbie Lashley Tucker celebrating on Sunday. And then Ronnie Brown, Coach Ronnie Brown with a birthday. Coming up Sunday, January the 8th, Laura McKee Cole with a birthday. Kenny Madden has a birthday on Sunday as well. Other Sunday birthdays include Madeline Driver, Amanda Herod Bronson with a birthday, Sarah Howard Laster on Sunday the 8th, and happy birthday to all of you on Sunday. And then we also want to remind you once again, Two Chicks Florissant Moore, spring planning coming up. It's here, folks. It's springtime. It's right around the corner. We thank Two Chicks for sponsoring the birthday report. Happy birthday to everybody whose name we called and whose name that we didn't call. If you're celebrating a birthday this week, happy birthday to you, and Happy New Year to all. Take this opportunity to thank all of our sponsors on Cable 15 TV, Facebook Live, Sports Unleashed. And that list is long, and we certainly appreciate all of them, or we wouldn't be able to put these programs together. Included in that list is C&M Ag Depot at 2900 Highway 367 North. Farm supplies, hardware, clothing store, power tools, you name it. Before you shop out of town, come see us at C&M Ag Depot. Gas, scrap metal, buying cars, iron, copper, cans, brass, steel, stainless, electric motors. They buy everything and they pay in real money. Give them a call at 523-3858 for more information. Fletcher Land Survey. Before you build that fence, make sure you have accurate boundaries. If you don't, you might mess up and have to tear it down. Give Kenny a call at 523-5625. Other sponsors include Fathead Pizza. That's one word and it's all caps. And it's the Hembry Brothers, Joey and Marcus. Great pizza, fresh, hot sandwiches, and the salad supreme that's second to none. You can call your order in at 870-201-1313. They'll have it ready to go. It'll be piping hot when you pick it up. Delta Trailer, been involved for 50 plus years right here in Newport, Arkansas. Dale Lee started this business many years ago in his backyard, and just built one trailer, and then one trailer went to two trailers, and then the third trailer, and then pretty soon it's a multi-trailer business, sending trailers all across the United States and Canada. These guys do it right, and let me tell you, there's no better family in Jackson County than the Eves family. And then also Temp Pro. Ask about financing on new upgrades. Sam and John Laster are the guys. Give them a call at 501-827-3213. White River Health, caring beyond health care. Until next time, everybody, this is David Black for Cable 15 TV and Sports Unleashed. Thank you. See you next time.